Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What is going on? I hope you guys are ready. I know it's Friday. I know that you guys are ready for the weekend. Hell, I know Roland is ready for the weekend. Tells me every damn week. Always excited for the weekend. Be it bowling, usually bowling, but he's excited nonetheless. I, on the other hand, I've got nothing to do this weekend. I have got nothing planned. Nothing. Quiet weekend. And that always bothers me because it means the wife wants to go shopping, or it means that the wife wants to go, I don't know, exploring. Let's go to another neighborhood. That's always the case. So I'll be driving for about a good hour or so. It's always an hour. But it's still the weekend. And I wish that I could tell you that there was no news made today. I wish I could tell you that today is like any other slow news day, but it's not. It's not. And I've got to tease it because I can't tell you at the beginning of the show because people are still getting here. If I tell you now, then no one's going to hear about it later. So stick around for the 3 o'clock hour. I have got big news. And one big fat I told you so. Not to you, but to the people who were in the news media, who were shouting down Chris Webby, who were dismissive of your host, Reese on the radio. I knew it. I felt it. I said it. I told people, I called them up. And we have got breaking news on DIQUAT. You may not have heard it. In fact, quietly, certain individuals are updating their websites or have already done it. So you don't want to miss it. We'll talk about that. But I had to say something today about the top of the hour yesterday, top of the show yesterday. And a point that I was trying to get across, I may have missed the mark. And I want to get to it. I want to reiterate it today because I got involved with the whole Josh Elliott filing paperwork to become the governor, and then talked about Governor Lamont sounding a little sheepish about it, no immediate attacks or pushback on the progressive wing of his party, telling him they've had enough of him. I also played his Bloomberg interview where he says the middle is getting smaller. Some people have viewed him as being a somewhat Republican light. But there was something I needed to reiterate. It's not so much that Democrats need to be concerned about the turn to the left, the extreme left. Mamdani exposes something that we all may have to deal with if they regain power. Why it is important to never let your foot off the gas. Something I've said here since the day after the election. I said, just because we won, just because we have the House, just because we regain the Senate, it does not mean we let our foot off the gas. And I know a lot of you say, but Reese, come on, is there ever a break? No. That's the way Martin Riggs says it in Lethal Weapon when Gary Busey has his facing the water. Danny Glover says, well, let me take him. Let me take him. No. The answer is no. The fight is every day. Why? Because they're fighting every day. And the far left, they see something in this Mamdani thing. And so does the moderate left, or the so-called moderate left. I call them the so-called moderate left because they've always been socialists. They are. Like it or not, they are. They tell you all day, every day, we're not socialists. That's the extreme wing of our party. No. These guys are magicians, sleight of hand. They do socialist things and then call it liberalism. That's all it is. But see, if we're not careful, they will shut us all down. If you want to understand what's at stake, I'll take you back while I take you forward. You remember the big deal about the social media companies, right? What saved it? What saved social media? Elon Musk purchasing Twitter, changing it to X. That changed it. That drove the left and the news media mad. Oh, now they're going to be using the N-word anytime they want to. That was their big concern. They always put it on that. What their biggest problem was that people were going to be able to exchange ideas, talk about things that are controversial on social media. The town square became the town square finally. After the Twitter files were released, what did they say? Oh, it's bogus. It's not true. Well, if it wasn't true and Elon Musk buys it and says it's going to be an open forum, what would they be so concerned about if Twitter was already the place that they claimed it was? A free speech place. But what did we learn in this investigation? We learned through the Twitter files that the White House, the powers that be, were telling social media companies, threatening them even, telling them to shut down debate, conversations, and things they didn't like. The average person online, whether or not they had 5 million followers or 5 followers. That's a fact, folks. I am not exaggerating. When you looked underneath the hood on this investigation and the lawsuit that followed, they were going after people with as little as 5 followers out of fear that that one post would reach millions. They needed to silence it because they couldn't get them to silence themselves. Now, I want you to take that and look at the Democrat Party and its problem with admonishing socialism and communism from the likes of Rozan Mamdani. The fear that folks have in criticizing his ideas because they saw one thing, the overwhelming vote, the overwhelming populace that voted for him in the primary. They are fearful to alienate those people. So while they stand in line, the rest of us who decide to have free speech and an open exchange of ideas, they wish to shut us down. What do you think happens if Mamdani or people like him get on a national stage and become the president of the United States? It will be the Biden administration on steroids. If you think I'm kidding, really, really think about it. Hillary Clinton has never referred to herself as someone who is a socialist. Remember, her team and many people like her, they got rid of Bernie Sanders, a Democratic socialist. They dispatched him in 2015 and 2016. But here's Hillary Clinton today.
The platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm.
Who the hell is we when you say we lose total control? Does that sound like a liberal Democrat, as they describe it? Or does that sound like a totalitarian? That we must control and moderate social media. I'll go one step further. You might remember this just recently. A couple of years ago at best. People who refused to follow the letter of Democrats, socialists, hell, communists. What did they want to do with people who defected? People who refused to follow their ideology. Well, they insisted on doing something only seen in communist countries?
And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members.
Terms being tossed around like deprogramming Trump followers.
All of America needs deprogramming because we've all been negatively influenced by Donald Trump.
Can't sit down with people that don't recognize there was an insurrection. Megan alluded the other day to the deprogramming that Katie Couric talked about.
Deprogramming that might work in other cases is it's obviously proven to be difficult.
Many of them have allowed the lies really to seep into their soul, and it's beginning to rot their minds.
Taking it even...
Colored books about cults and deprogramming to try to understand his Republican colleagues.
There are a couple accounts, libs of TikTok, a few, really prominent anti-trans and sort of far-right activists who started to essentially make the argument that any exposure to children about LGBT people is automatically grooming.
It seems to be emboldening anti-gay trolls. Explain how.
Not just libs of TikTok, but this guy, James Lindsay, they would say, hey, there's going to be something at this library, that they're going to read books, a drag queen's going to come and read books.
How do you fix it? How do you undo it?
Well, at this point, it's deprogramming.
That's what we're being fed. People of other races are out to get you. We accept that. We get fed that. And so when that doorbell rings or the basketball comes into your yard, your first response is to pull that gun. It's a programming that's occurring. The deprogramming question is much tougher to answer.
People have literally been brainwashed, and it's scary by the mis and disinformation that is online, that is being the propaganda on Fox News. It is another epidemic that our country is facing, and until we really...
Now think about this, folks. Talking about deprogramming people who think differently from them. And then, by the way, there's another minute and a half of that. It's another minute and a half of those little 5-4-second clips. But imagine a group of people saying they need to deprogram you because you're the cultist. And then look at these folks who have supported Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders in 2015. Because Bernie Sanders was a bridge too far with the democratic socialism stuff. Because they didn't want and would never endorse a socialist as their party platform. Jim Clyburn.
At this point, do you support Mamdani's candidacy as the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York?
Absolutely, I do. I support Democratic nominees.
So, just to be clear, you support Mamdani's running, or I guess his position as the Democratic primary winner. Is that an endorsement? Are you endorsing him as mayor of New York City?
I support the Democratic nominee.
They support a communist. They support a socialist. One and the same, in my view. They don't have a problem. This is who they support. Governor Lamont.
I think he is a big deal. I think he's transformative. I love what he's doing on a universal pre-K for everybody. Same thing that we're doing right here. talking about free bus service for folks. We did that all during COVID as well.
You were supportive of Andrew Cuomo. Are you now supportive of Zohran Mamdani in New York?
I just said that I had worked with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor, so I can work with whoever the next mayor is. And that's Mamdani. Absolutely. I look forward to working with him. The first call he's going to get from us. Look, New York City is the financial capital of the world. And Stamford, Connecticut, and Southern Connecticut are a big piece of that ecosystem. We have to work together closely.
No separation, ladies and gentlemen. Lamont supports a communist or socialist. Same thing. That's what they support. Ken Martin, DNC chair.
What about concerns from some of your Jewish colleagues in particular about him not outright condemning the phrase globalize the intifada in a recent interview? Some of your Jewish colleagues have said that that could be very disturbing, potentially dangerous. Do you agree with that?
You know, there's no candidate in this party that I agree 100% of the time with, to be honest with you. There's things that I don't agree with Mamdani that he said. But at the end of the day, I always believe, as a Democratic Party chair in Minnesota for the last 14 years, and now the chair of the DNC, that you win through addition. You win by bringing people into your coalition. We have conservative Democrats. We have centrist Democrats. We have labor progressives like me. And we have this new brand of Democrat, which is the leftists. And we win by bringing people into that coalition. And at the end of the day, for me, that's the type of party we're going to lead. We are a big tent party. Yes, it leads to dissent and debate, and there's differences of opinions on a whole host of issues. But we should celebrate that as a party and recognize at the end of the day, we're better because of it.
We're better because we have a communist/socialist. Folks, who's being brainwashed here? And I'll go one step further. I won't even call it brainwashing. I'd call it a cult. Because in a cult, you can't criticize. You can't excise. You must keep them within the fray. The party has embraced socialism. They are afraid to denounce it. Because the only thing they care about are votes. Not integrity, not anything. They stand for nothing and protest everything. Any given day. They don't have to have an ideology. In doing so, they can change their point of view any day of the week. When you look at this, this is exactly what the rest of us will get if they were ever to regain power. They would tell you that you were no longer allowed to have an opinion that is the opposite of theirs. If Mamdani wins in New York and he wins by millions or with millions of votes, the so-called thought leaders within the Democrat Party will try to capture that lightning in a bottle and use it in every big city across the country. And to see if they can get a coalition of those folks in the battleground states. And perhaps finally get the thing they wanted more than ever. And that is a socialist president. Hell, a communist in the White House. If you're wondering why everybody's talking about it, it's because that is the desire. That is the plan. You hear a bunch of these kids from the colleges and universities, some of them just out of high school. Don't we already have socialism? Aren't we already practicing those things? The only problem is that it hasn't been implemented correctly. We look at all the failures, all the means testing of all of these ideas, and the answer to it is always, well, they didn't do it right. Hundreds of years of getting it wrong. They still want another shot at getting it right. And soon there won't be a day where you'll be able to push back on it either. Think about it. Do you want to be like Ken Martin? Do you want to be like Governor Lamont? Do you want to be like Jim Clyburn? Imagine a MAGA where you couldn't disagree.
Gotta roll.
Oh, darn, it's already ready to take a break? I was going on a roll.
I know, that's why I had to stop you.
Yeah, you had to stop me. Well, just stick around. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I don't want to say anything, but it's our birthday. I'm sure you knew that already, and I'm sure you've got a wonderful present. 100 years, by the way.
We're back. Reese on the radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Folks, in less than 30 minutes, top of the hour, next hour, I have some incredible news for you. I am working diligently to get Chris Webby on the show. He is on a road trip right now. I'm sure he's got a concert somewhere, but he just sent me an email, and he is doing his best, his very best, to get on the air with the information I just forwarded to him. You have not heard anything about it because it has not been made public, or at least not extremely public. And I'm going to share it with you. Yes, I know I'm teasing you. I know you sit up there going, well, Reese, come on. This is the reason why you got to stay in. I got stuff planned. I got to do that. But this is incredible work by everybody. And the concern about DIQUAT has grown the right way. Where are we now? Let me see. We started this roughly about Tuesday of last week. We are about a week and a half in. And we are at this point where I know, and I believe me or not, I said it to you that we were going to put a stop to this, that we were going to fight it. Now, regardless of the fact that we have seen it in some couple of ponds and other lakes in and around Connecticut, I told you that once we got in touch with Lee Zeldin of the EPA, that something was going to happen. In my heart of hearts, I knew something was going to happen because I had this one sneaking suspicion that has turned out to be 100% true. And the dismissive nature of not just the news media, but of public officials about this, and the lack of a call to arms of people, especially those who call themselves conservationists and environmentalists. The fact that they were so silent just didn't make sense, folks. And when it doesn't, it doesn't. This basic logic could not be found in all of this. So what I'm about to share with you in the next half hour, you all deserve, for those of you who participated, and I know many of you did, you weren't just outraged. I can't wait to share it with you, which I'm going to do soon. I just got to get to it. A story that I looked up today that I thought was interesting and a bit confusing, but it turns out after a little more research, it all makes sense. It does. It just all does. One of my, I guess, what do I say? Probably topics. One of the topics I'm always involved with. I don't always try to, repeat the same stuff over again. I talk about immigration a lot. I talk about homelessness a lot. But poverty is another thing that I'm always on top of and having conversations with people about. And there was a story yesterday where the state of Connecticut was bragging about being 28th in business growth or places to do business. Here's the, it comes from, who's the source on this one? I think, CNBC. I love going to them. America's top states for doing business 2025, the full ranking. And the article was touting, or at least people were touting in the article, that Connecticut had has moved up a few notches to spot 28. That was the big deal. Connecticut now ranks as the 28th state to do business. And I can get that you as a governor, or maybe you're a politician, maybe a senator or something like that, you can pat yourself on the back to say, hey, people want to do business in Connecticut. In fact, our stock is rising in that space. And I said, okay, let me look at this list. And there were a few things I found incredibly odd. Because spot number 23 and spot number 22 should be an embarrassment. Why? Both of these states are hemorrhaging at the rate of about 200 to 350,000 people within the last 10 years, if not shorter. And they are New York and California, 23 and 22, respectively. We know that businesses are moving the hell out of New York rapidly. They're moving the hell out. Now, it would be one thing to say that they're moving into Connecticut, but we know that ain't true. People are talking about moving to New Jersey because they've got a shot. They ain't moving to Connecticut. Number 22 is California. That place is hemorrhaging everyone. They're going to Texas and Florida. Right now, Tennessee and North Carolina are hot spots for Californians. It ain't Connecticut. Then I found this article from the Connecticut Mirror. Are half of Connecticut households living paycheck to paycheck? Now, again, that wouldn't be a problem if so many people are coming to Connecticut to start their businesses, even if it were small businesses with less than 100 employees. But it clearly isn't making a dent. Well, according to this Connecticut Mirror GigaFact, or their fact-check brief, they say that no, half of Connecticut is not living paycheck to paycheck. That's a good thing. But 39% of Connecticut households are struggling to make ends meet, and that's according to a 2022 survey. What is that number, you ask? 39%? Sure. It's 1.4 million in the state that are struggling. How many residents in Connecticut are there, you ask? 3.7. That's right. 1.4 million people in the state of Connecticut are, in their words, struggling. 11% of families are living in poverty. That works out to about 396,000 in the state. And then there's this. Connecticut food pantries are bracing for federal cuts to secure $9 million in the state budget. I looked at some of the numbers. It turns out that at the rate, now think about this, it says that $3 million for the coming fiscal year and $6 million for the following year is far more than the money they were getting, which was at that time $850,000. Those were the previous budgets. That was the previous budget for food pantries in Connecticut. They want to expand that to $3 and $6 million. Why? Here's why. Because according to the $850,000 they were getting, they were serving over 360,000 families. That worked out to about $2.15 per family. So why brag about businesses coming to the state while we have a growing number of people who are struggling and a growing number of people who are in poverty? And we have to keep growing the budget for food pantries. No expansion of things like food stamps or WIC. We've got to expand the budget on food pantries. There is nothing to brag about in Connecticut when it comes to businesses coming here. I wish Lamont would stop talking about it. I wish he'd stop pretending that he is doing a good job in that area. It's getting worse here, not better. Which is why I believe he's so reluctant to say that he's going to run for re-election. I have a strange feeling he is going to bow out. But, I don't know, I could be wrong. I have been before. Not often, but I have been before. When we come back, I'll tease the news, by the way. In fact, I'll tease where you should go to get the news that we're going to break in the next hour. So stand by for that. And I'm going to check up on Chris Webby and see if he can give me an update on when he can call, because he's being bashed all over the news about this DIQUAT thing. So we'll see if we can get to him as well. Don't forget your phone calls at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And I want to give a shout out to Mark in West Hartford. Thank you for posting that. You shouldn't have. No, I mean, you shouldn't have. You'll get people mad. Just don't get these people mad on my behalf. I appreciate you. Yeah, we got all of that and more. Plus, what was the other thing? Oh, I went to go see the Superman movie last night. I don't know why, but everybody's talking about it. I went to go see it last night, and I got to give my review. So I hope that you're interested in that. It will be funny and entertaining. Even if you don't like superhero movies, you will like this review. I promise.
I heard a lot of bad things.
Oh, my goodness. You are going to love this review then.
Oh, man.
You're going to absolutely love this review. And trust me, before anybody flips out, I know he's a fictional character, but that's not the point here. It's a movie, and I'm going to explain it to you. And everything that everyone's saying about it, even the director, is wrong.
Okay. So you got a different take.
Oh, I have an incredible take. Such an incredible take.
I always like to see it for myself anyway.
No, please do. I always say see it, but I'll be honest with you, stream it. Don't go to the theaters.
Oh, damn.
Just don't. I'll tell you why. That's the most important part of this thing, is going to the theaters. I got to go to a break.
I like the popcorn and all that. But we'll talk about it after.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a little bit. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, your phone calls. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Yeah, man. Let's get to the phones. We got Jim in Waterbury on the line. Let's get to him. How are you, sir?
Hey, Reese.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah. I was saying you were talking about the socialists and communists. I've written a couple editorials in the Waterbury paper over the years.
Okay.
And it's about the teachers union. They're actually aligned with the Working Families Party, which is aligned with the Communist Party of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all together. I mean, it's no surprise, you know. And they are communists. They are not socialists.
I know, and that's, I had this discussion with my stepson the other day, and it's almost like they're training them in school that there's a distinction between the two. What I found, this is going to make you laugh. Try this on for size. So we went on this site called Grok. It's an AI search engine. It's different than like Google. It's like Copilot and all this stuff. So you type in a question that you ask. And you can type it in as a question, and it'll give you these details. So I asked, what countries have has a socialist system? And the countries that came up on the list will make you laugh. It was Russia, Cuba, Venezuela. These places are all communists. And they're all communists. It's like I'm sitting up and I'm trying to explain to him that this distinction without a difference is exactly what's going on. It's like there is no difference between the two. Like communism.
No, there isn't.
There isn't.
It's just that communists have guns.
Right. That's true. And the other scary part was he still believes this idea that Sweden is a socialist country, even though Sweden has done everything in its power to tell people, no, we're not. We used to be, but that failed. And they become more capitalistic sense. In fact, there's no, seizing of means of production in Sweden. So these people who are using it are clearly uninformed or either hasn't updated their research yet.
Right. Oh, I got one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I used to get the local newspaper, but it was sold out to a national organization.
Right.
So I stopped getting that paper. Now I get one out of New York. I don't know if you heard of it. It's owned by the Free Chinese. It's called the Epoch Times.
Read it every day. Have a subscription, my friend.
Oh, good. Everybody should read it. It takes me a week to read it.
It does. Isn't it? It's so full. It's so funny because it's so detail-oriented and getting to the facts. They don't curry any favor with anything. They get down to the bones of it. And what's also great about it is that they explain it, like after they do the story, then they explain what you've read.
And I love their health section and their tradition section.
Everything they do it's funny. It is subscription-based, folks. If you're ever thinking about it, it's Epic Times.
Everybody should read it.
Everybody should. Yeah,
you should read it.
It is well-informed and well-studied, and everybody there I enjoy. Thank you for that, Jim. I appreciate you, sir.
Well, you're a man in the know, so I figured. Well, anyhow, you have, if I don't talk to you again, have a blessed weekend.
Thank you,
and guess what? My wife drives. I sit the passenger seat.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, she refuses to drive anymore. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you.
I bought a nice, really nice used Toyota pickup. That thing hardly leaves the driveway.
Huh? Yeah. Well, and you know what? It's funny because that's what she wants to buy now. She wants to buy a pickup truck. I don't feel like.
Yeah.
I don't feel like
a man wants a pickup truck.
Right. I hear you. Thank you, Jim. I will say, Epic Times. If you're not familiar with them, it's spelled EPOCH. This is not an endorsement. It's just the Epic Times. If you want to look them up, you can. I think they have some sort of like free stuff that you can get for a limited time, but it is a news that you do not, and it's everything. Gosh, it's everything. If you want to know about China, they'll tell you. If you want to know about what's going on in Ukraine, they'll tell you. Everything that they cover. It's amazing that they are so independent, but they're growing, and they're often they often get let's just say. There's a lot of assassination attempts over at a newspaper against them. A lot of them. Yeah, they are always targeted. It's real rough for those folks over there. So because they're telling the truth. And people don't want that sometimes. Let's get a check of our news at the top of the hour. And we've got Dave Mager, who's filling in for John Silver today, in the newsroom. So we'll be right back. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Man, it is just one of those days, A Friday, you can air your grievance. Hopefully the wife will be back from running some errands to be back here for ladies' night. She may not make it back. I don't know. She should be back. I'm hoping that she is. So we can talk to her about so much stuff going on. Just got a lot of stuff going on. Anyway, we will get to that, plus your phone calls. Let's get to some news. It looks like the left is no longer raving about the new American Pope. The election of the first American pontiff, was speculated that he would be a progressive because of his views on immigration and social justice. And they thought that he might have a broader shift on things like teaching gender and transgender issues, gay priesthood, or same-sex marriage. However, the new Pope, nor the Catholic Church, has yielded to the liberal pressure that has transformed so many of the other churches. That's right, even though they kept celebrating he was a black pope. Yay, he's black. Well, he says Leo the 14th, a clear message to them directing them to understand that they are for reinforcing the Catholic Church's unwavering commitment to biblical marriage. I'm sure that's going to upset them. A woman convicted of stowing away on a flight from New York to Paris without a boarding pass or a passport won't be released from custody as she faces new charges for breaching security at Bradley Airport. Svetlana Dali was sentenced Thursday to time already served for her illegal ride to Paris last year. The 57-year-old woman, who was originally from Russia, has had a green card and is being held in a federal lockup in Brooklyn for roughly 7 months. Prosecutors say that on November 24th of 2024, Dali was able to get through security checkpoints at Bradley International Airport, hiding among other passengers. It wasn't just among other passengers. Diving into this story, it turns out that she tried to get through with regular passengers. When she got some trouble there, she then blended in with a flight crew and was able to get on the plane and fly to Paris. Oh, no, she was stopped. And then she went to JFK to do it, to try it there, which she succeeded. Anyway, two state teenagers have been arrested and extradited to Florida for allegedly swatting a child in Polk County, Florida, after losing a match in the popular video game Fortnite. A 15-year-old boy from East Hartford and a 14-year-old boy from Syracuse, New York, are accused of swatting, a harassment tactic that falsely reports a crime to the police and causing them to show up. The Orlando Sentinel is not naming the suspects, of course, because they're minors. The victim was a 12-year-old in Polk County, and they said in a Thursday news release. And I think that's crazy that you would swat a 12-year-old boy because you lost a video game. That seems like an evil thing to do. And then to extradite the 15-year-old from East Hartford all the way to Florida to face charges. Goodness gracious. Whoever the parents are, Godspeed. I hope that you are going to be, hopefully he'll just get probation or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully you'll be able to send him home. I don't want a 15-year-old to get jail time. But that's a dangerous thing, that swatting thing. Be careful. I got to do this. I got to give him a round of applause here. To a young woman by the name of Kaylee Roy of West Hartford. It turns out on June 29th, on a trail near Talcott Mountain, Kaylee's dog Phoenix, a German Shepherd Pit Bull Akita Labrador mix, jeez, that's a lot, started sprinting down the trail. When she caught up with her dog, she saw the dog playing with two bear cubs. And right behind the bear cubs were the bear's mother. Now, the cubs and the dog, Phoenix, were playing. Mom gets in there, obviously takes it as something else, and attacks the dog. And when I say attacks the dog, gets the dog in its mouth and bites down. Well, Kaylee, who had a backpack with a water bottle that she carries, that if you put water in it, it can weigh as much as 25 pounds. Well, instead of running away from the carnage, she ran to the mother bear and started swinging her backpack to where she caught the bear on the nose with the heavy cantina that was inside of it and managed to get her dog from the clutches of the bear. While her dog bleeds, she runs away, getting her dog to safety. The dog is fine. It's got a lot of scrapes, a lot of bruises, a lot of bandages. It's going to be on antibiotics for a little while. But I got to give her a round of applause. This woman fought a bear. And if anybody knows Kaylee Roy of West Hartford, please let her know that Reese on the Radio commends her, salutes her, Because I don't know, and we talked about this, just a couple of weeks ago? I don't think anybody would face down a bear. But I can understand if you've got a relationship, which I can assume Kaylee does, has a relationship with her dog Phoenix. And it's probably a relationship that is like her baby. And I know there's some people out there that's like, wow, man, some of these people are crazy about their animals. It's not crazy. I don't think it's crazy. Dogs, it's a different thing. It is. Maybe some people don't understand it for whatever reason. Maybe you've never had a dog, haven't been around them. But this is it. I can get her. And that's why I salute her. I'm not going to rip on her or anything like that and call her like, what, puts your life in danger. I get it. It's nothing for me, nothing odd. Plus the bravery alone. I don't know whether she says that adrenaline started kicking in and that's what sort of led her to get her dog. But I know that it was sort of like that unwavering love and protection that comes with a person that you do something like that. So, like I said, I give her a round of applause. Like I said, I don't know if I could do it. I say that about cops and firefighters and all that stuff. I don't know if I can do it. I don't. All right, let's get to the news. Let's get to the big news. Sit down. You don't want to miss this. So as you know, WFSB was one of the only networks that did a story about DIQUAT that, in my humble opinion, thought was honest, thought-provoking, and even-keeled. It talked about the dangers of hydrilla and expressed the dangers of DIQUAT, even telling people that it was banned in Europe. No other outlet seemed to address that. The other outlets seem to address this controversy about mis- or disinformation about hydrilla, only mentioning DIQUAT flippantly, not explaining the concern that people had. And again, WFSB, doing its job, updated its website today, which I was alerted to. If you go to WFSB to go look up the article about DIQUAT, scroll all the way down. It's not about the video. The video has not been updated. That from July 3rd still stands. But an updated message is at the bottom of that link. Allow me to read it to you. The Army Corps of Engineers said there's no plans to use DIQUAT this year. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released a statement saying that they were not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut. I repeat. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released a statement saying they were not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut. What did every article tell you? What did every article say? That the EPA knew what they were doing. Everybody knew about it. The EPA was in full compliance. Again, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released a statement saying they were not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut. It goes further. A direct quote from the EPA Administrator, Lee Zeldin. It is a top priority of the Trump EPA to be as honest and forthcoming with the public as possible. We hear the many questions that have been raised on this topic, and we are doing our best to answer them. EPA's Region 1 staff in New England have been engaged on this issue. The Trump EPA is committed to protecting clean waterways in Connecticut and across the country. It is also a top priority of this agency to ensure plants and wildlife can live safely in their habitats as we strive to be exceptional stewards of our environment. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin. This letter today coming from Senators Henry Martin and Stephen Harding. Dear EPA Administrator Zeldin, we know we speak for many concerned residents when we say thank you for issuing a public statement noting that the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut. This topic has been one that we have repeatedly asked our Connecticut Department of Energy of Environmental Protection, DEEP, about. On July 9th, for example, we asked the commissioner of DEEP a simple and direct question. Will DIQUAT be used in Connecticut this year or not? We have yet to receive a reply. We thank you for noting that a top priority of the Trump EPA is to be honest and forthcoming with the public as possible. We thank EPA's Region 1 staff in New England for doing their best to answer questions and staying engaged on this issue. We all share the same goal. We want to protect our waterways in Connecticut while ensuring plants and wildlife live safely. Again, thank you for your transparency on this important Connecticut environmental and public health issue. Please continue to do so. It is appreciated. Signed, Senator Henry Martin and Stephen Harding. What did I say? I said that the Trump EPA knew nothing about this, and they did not. I knew they didn't because it didn't make sense. No one wanted to talk about it. No one wanted any focus on it. And when they did, they wanted to put it on disinformation and hydrilla. It was barely a conversation about DIQUAT. And anyone raising an alarm about it was dismissed. As I told you, Mark in West Hartford contacted all of the news media, and what was their response? We heard about it. Is there a protest? They seem to be concerned about protesting, but not about the issue, not about informing you. Why did they not want attention? Because somebody was going to find out that the current EPA and Lee Zeldin were going to find out about it, and they would look into it. I told you that someone was lying to you. I told you that they were lying to you. And they were. Whoever told you that the EPA was in on this and the EPA knew, it may have been the last administration. They may have signed off on it. It may have very well have been their idea. But they were doing it and they were keeping it in the dark. They were hoping that it would stay in the dark. But it is not now. And now the head of the EPA knows. And now we see what happens. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Chris Webby. I want to thank everybody who contacted this show. I want to thank everybody who called, whoever they knew, contacted public officials that they knew. This isn't new to me, folks. I know that for a lot of people, it's like, wow, really? This isn't new to me. And I'm going to go back to 3 years ago when I joined WTIC. And I said something, a lot of people kind of poo-pooed it and dismissed it. I got into this game because I knew that people were doing it differently. Not wrong, different. And I watched the results. I paid very close attention to the tactics, to the way in which people did things, and I said, that's not working. And we need to try something different. And when you push people and you say, try something different, people go, no, that doesn't work. We tried that. You may have tried it, but did you try it this way? I'm not this guru on this. I don't want to start giving that impression. It was like, oh, no, Reese must think so. You know, no, it's not that. It's not that. I pay very close attention to what people say and why they say it. And when you hear these people start rambling off the same talking points, and when they're so concerned about you interjecting and addressing those little points, because they'll go off on a tear. They'll start making 5, 6, 7 bullet points, thinking that you'll forget about them unless you stop them in their tracks and go, no, you're not going to get away with just throwing that bullet point in there and not being challenged on it. And that's what happened. That's what happened when the representative was here on the program. She just wanted to keep going on. Just let me talk, just let me talk, just let me talk. That's what everybody wants them to do. Just keep talking. talk you into boredom, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, fine, we're never going to get anywhere. Move on. Never. And now, again, what did we find out? Deep was sent the letter. They haven't responded yet. The local Deep hasn't responded yet. Why? They're putting out press releases. They won't even respond to letters that are being sent to them by state senators. Why don't they want to bring attention to this? Look, I'm no political advisor. Again, I'm no genius. I just pay very close attention. I told you that this was going to get done. I told you this was going to reach the right people, and it has. Sometimes I say it tongue-in-cheek to have faith in me. Listen to me. I try not to get this stuff wrong because I tell you, if I do, it keeps me up at night. It does. It really does. It keeps me up at night. I got to get it right. Every day I keep saying to myself, I got to get it right. Because if I don't, I failed you. There's no reason to listen to this show. It's not a success. So I'm trying not to, not even because I need the accolades. I'm not trying to be a success, but I need what we do here to be a success. It is to entertain, but it is also to inform and enlighten. And I believe that there's a public service taking place here. I feel like an elected official in the sense of the only way I stay here is that work like this gets done, that we get results like this, and we can do it. All of us. And I'm talking about everybody else in this medium, too. I got nothing against them. But I'm not in the business of just getting on the air every day and let's complain about something. I want something. I need something at the end of the day. At the end of the day, what I believe is the currency in all of this is results. That's my money. That's my money. So I hope you guys I hope you're motivated by this. I hope you are, because we need to be. We need to take this ball right now. We got the momentum. Nobody thought that we could do this. Some people thought this was a fool's errand. I just something that I knew. Just sounds crazy, but it's just something that I knew in my heart of hearts. So we'll take your phone calls. I'd love to hear from you and your response to what you know now. You can please go to WFSB.com. Go to the article. It was in July 3rd. Just search the word DIQUAT. Go to the bottom. You can read the statement yourself. WFSB is the one who posted it. I think it was, Adam, if you could tell me, when did they post it? Was it today or yesterday when they did the update on the post? So that we could inform the public. But we can do this, man. We can. I'm telling you, it is not impossible. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. But I'm kind of overwhelmed by it. Let's take a break. We'll take your phone calls. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
George Norrie here from Coast to Coast AM, wishing WTIC a very happy 100th birthday.
We're back, Reese on the radio. Let's get to some of your phone calls, and I've got some, what do you mean? I got, what's the other story I had to get to? Oh, yeah. Stand by, because I got to get to it. The Superman review. I got to get to that. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go to Ralph. How we doing, sir?
Hanging in. It's hot down here just like it is up there. So, Reese, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why would any mayor in any city not want criminals removed from the city?
That's an interesting question. I think for the sake of anarchy, people are easy to control if they're desperate for government intervention.
I mean, let's face it. If the average person, I'm sure, in these cities, if they says we're getting rid of rapists, murderers, child predators, they'd be on board 100% with that. Yet the mayor is not in Chicago and Los Angeles.
Oh, no. I mean, I couldn't think of any major city where they have this, they feel like for them, police isn't necessary evil, but focus on the word evil, so to speak. They don't believe in maintaining order because obviously you can see that they cannot.
No, but what I would ask the mayor, will you accept responsibility for any crime committed by one of these people that you let stay here? Will you accept personally that responsibility? You know what the answer is going to be?
No. Yeah.
No answer.
Yeah, of course they'll say no, but here's the weird part about that. Like, let's take Brandon Johnson, for instance, right, in Chicago. This guy is sitting at a well-received poll rating of 7 as mayor of Chicago. Do you know the interesting part?
Why is it that high? Why is it that high?
No, exactly. Who gave him a 7? And that's up from 6, by the way, which means he's improving. But that being said, the scary part is let's think about this on a grander level. Brandon Johnson is prime to be unseated by a Republican, considering those numbers in Chicago, right?
Well, you would think, but I would not in Chicago.
Exactly. That's exactly the point I'm making, is that even though his approval rating is at a 7, if a Republican were to walk in, having never served in that office, or let's say he served in that office, something close to a mayor of a town, maybe a small town in Illinois, I bet you they would still not vote for him, and overwhelmingly, Brandon Johnson would win.
Right, but these are people, if you that would put a gun to their own heads and then pull the trigger.
Exactly, and you know why? Because they don't want to. I ain't voting for no Republican. That's
right. But remember one thing, Reese. They talk about slavery. Well, I got news for you. The blacks are still slaves to the Democratic Party. They own them lock, stock, and barrel, and they do exactly what they're told. And that's the sad part.
You know what? It is sad. I do see a tide turning. It's not enough for me, but it's enough. Like I said, I was saying yesterday when talking about Mark West Hartford, I'll take what I can get. I can't get it all, but I'll take what I can get. Thank you, Ralph. Right. Let's go to Ann in Florida. Hello, Ann.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. What's up?
I'm calling because I heard you talking about the EPA never responding.
They never received a notice. Let me read it for you for those of you who may have missed it. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released a statement saying they were not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut.
Okay. So I worked in planning and zoning in Connecticut for 15 years.
Okay.
And the EPA of the state of Connecticut, the Department of Environmental Protection, they call it DEP, or Energy, DEEP, the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection.
Right.
So it used to take me, an example, livestock, cruelty to livestock.
Okay.
It used to take me dozens of phone calls and letters to the state of Connecticut DEP to get them to come take care of malnourished horses.
Wow.
Which all now reside in Niantic Prison, and the women there have a rehab facility for large livestock.
Oh, wow.
Which is wonderful. But the problem is that the state does not respond to anything that they don't have to. As somebody who did this for 15 years, I can tell you.
So they just ignore your phone calls or your letters or any correspondence you send to them? Not even like a lackey sending you a response back saying, we got your correspondence?
Well, usually I would have to get them on the phone, and I would know people in the department who I could use to manipulate them to respond.
I hear you.
And a lot of times it was just people who lived in the town that I worked for, who worked for the state, who I could go to and say, can you get me a response from this department? Because I can't get it. It got worse during COVID. I left right after COVID. I left in 22. I've been working in Florida for 3 years. I just recently retired, but the point is, it's different down here. I've been doing planning and zoning down here. Well, zoning is different down here than it is up in Connecticut.
Is the response more proactive?
Well, it's more militant. It's more police state. It's more. It's that kind. Whereas when I was doing zoning, I would find ways to help the people who I was dealing with who were having problems. To me,
Gotcha.
I used to joke and say I was the. People are going to know who I am when I say this, so it doesn't matter because I live in Florida now. But and I'm out of the business.
Right.
Best business in the world to be out of is municipal government because nobody appreciates you.
I hear that.
No matter how hard you try.
What
and
was,
I always
what
felt
was your
of
nickname?
myself as I've been called a Nazi.
Oh, wow, really?
On Facebook, yeah. Yeah, I've been called all sorts of names, but I've also been called an angel sent from heaven because I've helped people.
Right.
And it's the people, my point was, the laws are the laws. I'm hired to enforce them.
Right.
These are the ways I can enforce them. I can work with you. I can help you find a solution. If it's money, I can find volunteers. If it's, and I did all that. I had the Lions working for me. I had the Boy Scouts working for me.
Wow.
Or volunteering for me to help people. The point that I'm trying to make is Connecticut was brilliant in the fact that even though the state employee system is a mess, but the legislature at the time that most of the towns in Connecticut were incorporated and the statutes that put planning and zoning into effect for the municipalities, they all focused on the right of the locality to choose how it would be represented and to choose how it would be developed.
Then, Ann, you would be surprised that, I just read this yesterday from the Connecticut Insider. Governor Lamont vetoes a bill that would give Connecticut towns the right to overturn environmental rulings.
What? Say that again?
Governor Lamont vetoed a bill that would give Connecticut towns the right to overturn environmental rulings. This thing was supposed to be allowed, right? The whole law or the bill was supposed to allow towns 16,000 or fewer to be able to veto deep if they wanted to do something environmentally in the town. He vetoed it.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah.
No.
Well,
he told the town they don't have any jurisdiction.
Okay.
He won't allow the town with 16,000 or fewer residents to be able to counter deep if they want to do something environmental in the town.
And Lamont vetoed this.
He vetoed a bill that would allow them to, in essence, their own destiny, right? To say, hey, we want that used, we don't want that used. So deep in those small towns pretty much overrides their decision. They have no say.
But he vetoed the. Wait, they always did. I'm completely confused by what you're saying.
Okay, so what I'm saying
let me say what I know from when I was there, and you can correct me if it's changed since then.
Okay.
And that is that the state statutes have a pre-prescribed directive to wetlands agencies in the small communities under 1,600. And they are directed to make their own decisions based on that statutory direction. Now, I don't know where deep comes into this, except for that people frequently do things that they're not supposed to do, and they get reported, and then it goes to, again, it doesn't go to deep. It goes to the municipality. The municipality has a hearing to determine if they have broken any rules. Well, then they give them a directive based on that statute on how to act, on what to do. Okay, I'm going to hold on now.
Yeah.
So if it's changed, tell me.
It's saying, what he's saying here is, right, and this was his quote, it's important to note that today's permitting process offers extensive opportunity for public engagement. I'm concerned that the mechanism proposed in this bill, allowing a local referendum to reverse certain permit approvals or denials issued by DEEP could have unintended consequences that weaken critical protections for environmental justice communities and create harmful uncertainty for our business community that could hamper investment in Connecticut.
Okay.
So he's saying that if DEEP is making a decision environmentally in your town, a town with 16,000 or fewer, if you wish
That's
to...
new.
Say again?
That's new.
Yes.
I worked in a town that was 13,000. We had our own wetlands. I worked in a town that was 17,000. We had our own wetlands. So that 16,000 limit, that's a new law that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, apparently the bill passed the Senate 25-11 on June 4th in the final hour of the 23-week legislative session with Democrats on the losing side. The day before, it passed the House 104-43 with only 5 Republicans voting against it, and he vetoed it.
Well, good for him. I don't know. I just wanted to comment on the differences in the way things are done by state and on what's good about what was good about what I knew about Connecticut is that it allowed for the towns to hire the kind of people that would treat their citizenry the way their citizenry wanted to be treated and would solve problems. Now, I see that's going away.
That's exactly what's happening here. Indeed.
I hated Sarah. Her husband was the mayor of Hartford.
Yeah.
I didn't personally hate her. I just...
You didn't like what she stood for.
Right.
And I do have to take a break. It's always hard break.
Thank you for talking to me for so long.
My pleasure.
I'm sorry if I dragged it on.
That's okay. No. It was very informative. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ann. You got it. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. We'll take your phone calls as well. It's Reese on the radio, WTIC News Talk 1080.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Our trusty Floridian is on the line. White Mike calling in. What's going on, sir? Happy Friday.
Hey, same to you. So I was thinking about this Jeffrey Epstein thing and how they're kind of rubbing this in our faces. And I thought, if the worst thing that was in these files was Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and a bunch of billionaires and celebrities on video having sex with 16-year-old prostitutes, they'd probably just have sacrificed these guys to make the whole thing go away.
You think that's what they should do?
No, I think if that was the worst that was in those files, they'd have hung those guys out to dry.
Right, exactly. Because in essence, it's sort of the opposition, and you get to, dirty them up and everything else.
Well, and in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scale of evil and crime, that's not at the tippy top.
Right. So what's your theory?
That's a bad thing, but it's survivable.
What's your theory on this? By the way, breaking news. There are rumors going around that Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, has been suggesting that he might resign as a result of this non-disclosure of the Epstein list. Did you hear about that?
Well, I think I did, but I think that the all the stuff you hear on the crazy person side of the internet about adrenochrome and child sacrifice, and all this, where'd the 20,000 Haitian kids go?
Yeah.
And where's all these illegal children disappearing to?
Yeah.
Dude, how am I not supposed to think they have some really evil stuff? Like Epstein was an evil guy, but he was a pimp. And he was an intelligence operative, but he was a pimp.
Right.
But he was a snake. So he got dirt on people above him, and he knew people who facilitated the worst stuff happening. Mm-hmm. And somebody had that information. And they've leaned on Trump to burn his political capital to cover this up. Because why would he burn all his political capital protecting Bill Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. I've heard some other theories about this, which I'm going to try to be brief, and I'll let you get the last word. Other people are saying that, and I think this was probably what's that guy's name? Who used to be at the Daily Caller, Sanger. I always forget his weird name, but he was on with Tucker.
Yeah,
exactly. He was on with Tucker Carlson talking about how some of what they believe are CIA assets that we're working with or handlers of Jeffrey Epstein, that those individuals might be at risk of exposure as well. I mean, I've heard so many different ideas about why it's not being released. I just don't know what to make heads or tails of it. But let me ask you this just before we go to break.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this is ultra damaging to the MAGA movement because this information is not coming out? Like, how much damage on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you think this is a 5 or do you think this is an 8?
Honestly, I think it's an 8+.
Okay.
Maybe a 9. This was important, and you can't be seen as supporting a pedophile.
Right.
Now, I don't know exactly what happened on Epstein Island. You know, I have a difference of opinion. It's not like he was hanging out at the bus station picking up wayward 13-year-olds.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I think he had, to be blunt, he had teenage hoes. And sometimes some people are made for the streets, and that's how it is. It ain't legal, but it's not like he had a bunch of 6-year-olds on the island either, as far as I know. And there's a difference.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I think it
Yeah.
does. I think it does affect the campaign. Well, at least the presidency in a real way. I just don't know if it's that high. But thank you, Mike. Let's take another break. We'll come back. We got weather and traffic. Our first check of it with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hey, thanks.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Let's get some airing of grievances and see if anybody's got one. People love talking about the movies. I know you do. You guys can pretend that you don't, but I know you love talking about them, even if you don't go. Even if you don't go. I know you love talking about, because I know you watch movies at home. I know some people don't, but I know most of you do. Bushwhacker says, I saw The Hunt for Red October. Packed theater. Farthest left seat in the front row.
That movie was fire.
That movie was great. Made the submarine huge. Yeah, the worst seat I ever had in my life was at the premiere for Goodfellas in Queens. A radio station gave tickets for it, and the only seats available, because we arrived late. I hate the people I was traveling with that day. And we arrived late, and the only seats available were the front row seats, and I watched that movie with my head directly up in the air. Watching that movie.
I watched the greatest movie ever. I believe it's the first or the second movie they had in IMAX theater. Avatar, the first Avatar.
You watched the first Avatar.
And I was just like you on the front row.
Head straight up in the air.
And it was like 10 of us all doing the same. But the good thing about it was, first of all, all my friends were mad at me because I got those tickets, but it was such a popular movie.
Yeah,
that was the only tickets you could get was in the front row.
Yeah.
By the end of the movie, everybody was thanking me because it was IMAX 3D. You had they bit into the big fruit, the juices splashed all over you, and the yay wildflowers was flying and landing on your shoulder.
Well, it was sort of like interactive. Was it that really?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the way it appeared because you had the 3D goggles on.
Yeah.
So it appeared like everything was
felt realistic, like you were in the middle of the film.
Yeah, and that's what made me start going to see IMAX, because before I was like, I don't know if I want to pay the extra $5 a ticket to see IMAX. But then after that movie, I was like, yeah, I'll pay.
I paid to see an IMAX 3D experience to go see The Force Awakens, the Star Wars film.
Okay.
I went to go see that. By the end of it, I hated that experience.
Oh, you didn't like it?
For someone, you know what it is? I have an astigmatism in my left eye that makes me impervious to 3D. It doesn't work for me. It only makes it blurrier, and I can't watch it. So I've stopped doing it ever since. I won't do 3D. I won't do IMAX. I just go to the regular movies. I think I just enjoy it there. But you mentioned Avatar. You know what I call that movie?
What?
I call it by its original name, Dances with Wolves. That's what it is. And by the way, anybody who wants to challenge me on
that was a great movie.
Of course, it was a great movie.
I love Dances with Wolves. It was long, but
that's all Avatar was. It was Dances with Wolves. You know what was also Dances with Wolves? The Last Samurai. Also Dances with Wolves. Yes, it was. It was.
Well, you know what? I would say that's more Dances with Wolves than Avatar.
Yeah, no. It is white man finds indigenous people, becomes one of them by the end.
Yeah.
Turns around and starts hating on the people who sent them there. It's Dances with Wolves. It's Kevin
The Last
Costner.
Samurai. That movie was incredible.
I know a lot of people love that. I would be at the movie theater, and I say this is mean of me to do, but I would talk in the movie theater during the trailers just because it's boring. But I remember I saw the trailer for The Last Samurai, and it plays on the screen, and it's like The Last Samurai, and I go, I like it better when it was called Dancing with Wolves, and the whole place erupts. And I did the last thing my other time, and I think it was probably before then, the trailer for the Titanic. After that comes on, and a big giant word Titanic comes up, and you see it tipped over, and you just see the words Titanic, and when the trailer's about to end, I go, I wonder how it ends. I love
Crazy.
I love doing that. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Stan in Broadbrook. Hello, Stan.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Reese, sorry about that. Anyways, so that last bill that the governor just vetoed on us.
Yeah.
And that was 16,000. So if you see the call screen, it's Broadbrook, and that's part of East Windsor.
Okay.
Well, got to remember the last call I had, we're having solar shoved down our throat to beat the bandwagon. Almost another 400 acres of it.
Wow.
But we're a town of about 12,000. We're 12,000 people. So, and the one portion of calling into our illustrious, what the heck do we want to call it, siting council.
Okay.
I was numbered lucky 13. Well, there was a gal that was a couple in front of me, and she does her homework pretty well. And she said that solar was not supposed to be put anywhere within 2 miles of an aquifer. At far wetlands and inland wetlands said, hey, dum-dum, you're putting solar because we got a huge aquifer going from here into Ellington. Guess what? If they said that, well, guess what? Mr. Lamont is doing that. And it's kind of sad because our Senator Anwar Fauci is taking in that's a guy who doesn't return his phone calls or his emails. Anyways, that's another story. But he was touting with a good governor down in South Windsor, Connecticut, this bill to help farmers. They had tobacco behind them. You know what? It's kind of an oxymoron. You help farmers, and then you go ahead and take the farmland away because it's easy pickings. Okay, and a farmer is a gambler against the weather and everything else like that. With that said, and now they're going to be the ones that let go to land are able to make money on it. They're trying to make money. I understand that.
I know
and you got Anwar wants us all to pay more taxes. He just said that on it. A couple of days ago.
He sure did. And again, this is one of those things. Look, I know the bill has been vetoed. But what I want to know is what changes Lamont wants to make to the bill, because he says that he believes that the town having too much power to fight back a bunch. In essence, what he believes is Deep knows better than the people who live there. And they may have the power to stop Deep doing something that is vital to the environment. To suggest, as we've already heard from Ann, that Deep in some way has its finger on the pulse of that community and they should run roughshod over it, it defeats the purpose of having a community. I mean, what's the sense?
It's just Bill 5002. It takes away all the usefulness of the municipalities, the 169 towns that are in Connecticut that have plan and zoning board of appeals, wetlands.
Exactly.
It takes their voice and just pulls and steamrolls right over them.
Exactly. It's like your vote or your vote.
Here you go, steamroll.
Indeed. Thank you, Stan. I appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much, Reese.
You got it, buddy. Let's go to Rob is in Meriden. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello, Reese. Thank you for picking up my call. I'm starting to whatever, ooze in on me. I get a better vibe than I used to with you. But for what that's worth, I have a few things if I could talk.
What in the world?
About, Epstein. I talked to you a couple of weeks ago or last week about the videos. And Puff Diddy had videos. The
Yes.
feds took the videos. And now where are the videos? And R. Kelly had videos. So now that
nobody's disputed the R. Kelly videos to give you sort of a difference.
But I don't want to change.
No, you don't. You're not changing the subject. I'm just saying that you make a very good point.
No.
I want to hold on. I want to illustrate the point you just made. In the R. Kelly cases, they provided those videos, or at least an introduction of those videos in the cases that he had. You make a good point in saying that the things that they obtained in Diddy's houses in both L.A. and Miami, none of them were brought to bear as evidence in his case. You make a very valid point.
But now, are those videos? Do they have to be destroyed?
No, those things that are. Listen to me. I think they got exactly what.
No, but how does the public know? But the other thing, if you don't mind, sorry about these stupid birds. Now Elon, he seems to be silent because he did mention something a couple of weeks about, about this and that, about, they're having a little.
He hasn't been silent, Rob. Let me just get to your point, because you're going to go all over the place, and I'm not going to be able to address the point you made.
Oh, yes.
The important thing.
I have another question too.
I understand. The important point about the Diddy files is, first of all, they stay in the hands of the feds, which also lends to this I want to say theory. I want to call it a conspiracy theory, but it's a theory that many people have, that the feds wanted to get a hold of what Diddy had as blackmail, right? Because that was what people believed, was that he was working for the feds, Diddy was getting all the blackmail stuff, and then they get him on prostitution charges. They drop the ball on the most serious charges. He does about 5-10 years. They get to confiscate all the videos he has on the quote-unquote important people. They've got a hold of it. And then, you bring – all of this is valid. All of these are valid arguments.
Wait another year or two. They're going to go after more people.
You never guess, man. Thank you, man. Let me go to – I'll take Texas today commentary. What's going on, sir?
My bad, man. My bad. I was reading some nonsense. Anyway, I got a grievance real quick, man. It's been a minute, so I thought I'd bring one in. Oh, I'll just keep going. It's not a bit or nothing. I just keep running into it, man. Like, I don't know if, the old school can headphones are coming back into style. I remember having those.
Old school can headphones?
Yeah, like the big old, they look like big earmuffs, like you tripled up on earmuffs.
Yes.
They're like deep, but 3 times the size. So I've been seeing people in public, though, like at the grocery store with both ears covered. I mean, you got to be observant and smart to be able to even try to pull that off. But in this day and age, why would you eliminate one of your 5 senses? Why would you do that? You have no idea. And then you're walking out in front of cars because you think every area that you step in front is a crosswalk. Because Walmart made everybody spoiled, and now they just walk out in traffic whenever they feel like it. You get bumped by carts because people looking at their iWatch. I just hate it. People are stupid enough as it is with all these technology and Grok's out here now answering people's questions. Bunch of idiots. And they're all wearing headphones and getting in my way.
Hold on.
I don't like it.
Terry, hold on. You bring a valid point, but of course you do it in a very humorous way. But you bring up a good point. So I bought a pair of headphones the other day, and again, you were catching me out there. I bought a pair of headphones the other day. They were the Beats headphones, and they are the ones you described. They cover up the whole ear. Now, why did I buy them? I bought them I was going to use them for the show, only for the show, and then I couldn't do a connection. It was a weird thing. So now I use them to mow my lawn. And what you just described happened to me. I put them on my ears, and my next-door neighbor has a dog who always, when she sees me, runs up to me and starts jumping on me. I love this dog. And I was in my garage just doing my business with my back to my neighbor's house, knowing that this dog, if it's outside, will run into my garage and jump on me. Turned around, and when it came over to me and hit me in the leg, I thought I was being attacked by a bear, and I freaked out. And I realized, holy crap. I'm like, I got to take these things off my ear. Now I know I won't wear them. And they're noise canceling, which goes to your point. Why are they noise canceling?
That's what I was about to tell you, and that stuff really works.
So you can enjoy the what you're listening to.
Like a little earbud when I'm at work so I can listen to you and, everybody else. But I only wear one. I want to know if somebody's coming up behind me or not and sitting to take my lunch. You know what I mean? I don't understand why people don't, practice it. And then they're like, oh, my God, I didn't think this could happen. I'm not wishing ill will on nobody. I'm just saying, people, you got to use a little bit of common sense around here.
Yeah, man. That's the thing. When I heard the word noise canceling, I said, no, I can't put those things on my ears.
And then I'm wondering, too, because like what you said, I got bigger headphones for when I record and whatnot. And by the time I get done, even if it's just an hour, man, your ears are all moist and saturated. You walking around West Texas, 110 degrees out with some earmuffs on, listening to Taylor Swift, just sweaty ears, fungus probably. Too far. Y'all have a good weekend.
You went too far when you mentioned listening to Taylor Swift.
I know it. She's the first idiot that comes to mind every time I bring up stupid music. All right.
Thank you, Terry. Have a great weekend. Always a fun time with that guy. He's absolutely hilarious. Hey, guess who just walked into the house, everybody? Yes, that's right. Reese on the radio's very own Shaka Khan is in the house. How you doing, sweetie?
Hi, baby.
So we got plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm going to talk about you letting me go to the movies by myself.
Okay.
And we'll also talk about my review of what's the name of Superman. Watching that. So that's coming up soon. Let's get another check of our weather in traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Good
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All righty, let's do it.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
What's the stupidest thing I read today? Well, I heard that former Vice President Mike Pence was on CNN talking about Donald Trump and Donald Trump's takeover of the modern-day GOP. Well, that discussion went over there on that Lauren Phillips program on CNN. They say it's the highest-rated show on CNN, but I think it's primarily due to Scott Jennings. But Scott Jennings was on that program talking to the former lieutenant governor of Georgia, who is a Donald Trump hater. And he said this, listen closely, because what Scott Jennings does to him explains what Reese on the radio has been telling you folks for years.
Jeff, you may be the perfect person to answer this question. Is Mike Pence right that that's a minority view, that Trump is sort of leading this sort of limited faction of the Republican Party right now?
With all due respect, Mike Pence is not correct when he makes that statement. Donald Trump completely controls the entire GOP, and the only example I can give that equates to it is like a rogue cult leader coming into a church and taking it over. He's brainwashed him, and you don't have to look any further than the zombie-esque reaction to even the last few weeks. I mean, Doge has imploded. He's made promises, yet the base doesn't hold him accountable for it. We've spent trillions of dollars in debt that he promised that we wouldn't. We still have wars in Ukraine raging, and he's taken the sides of Vladimir Putin until the last few hours. This is not the Republican Party that I grew up in, and I don't think it's ever coming back. I think it's gone. I think it's gone for good. They're in the ditch, and they just don't know it yet.
Now, if you were to hear that, you just go, that guy's a Republican? Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Jeff Duncan is a Republican. Yeah, this is what they're talking about when they say, whatever happened to the regular Republicans? You mean the ones who sound like Democrats? Well, Scott Jennings, I'm going to say he took a flamethrower to all of that.
How are we in the ditch? We won the national popular vote last November. We won a crushing victory in the Electoral College. We won majorities in the House and the Senate. We just passed the big, beautiful bill. Peace is breaking out in the Middle East. Peace is breaking out on the African continent. Gas prices are lower than they've been in 4 years. Taxes are going to be low. Egg prices are down 69%. The southern border is secure. Jeff, these are things Republicans have believed in for a very long time.
Scott, damn right. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. I love it. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're going to hear about it.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, hanging out with Rozan on the radio. We'll get to her in a second. But if you're just joining us, many of you may be joining us late, just getting out of the office. We do have breaking news today. At roughly about 12:30 this afternoon, we got an update to a WFSB story that many on this show, Chris Webby, myself, all provoked. WFSB did an article talking about DIQUAT being sprayed in the Connecticut River and other parts of Connecticut, which we know now has been done in many places and in many cases. We spoke to Representative Renee Muir here on the program. We told her that we were going to do whatever it took to get that, whatever it takes to get it stopped. And I said on this show that I was certain that the current EPA was unaware of DIQUAT being sprayed in the Connecticut River. I stood by that, and I was right. WFSB, again, 12:30 today, updating a story it did on July 3rd. The Army Corps of Engineers says there's no plans to use DIQUAT this year. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency released a statement saying that they were not aware of any applications to use DIQUAT in Connecticut. Quote, "It is a top priority of the Trump EPA to be honest and forthcoming with the public as possible. We hear the many questions that have been raised on this topic, and we are doing our best to answer them. EPA's Region 1 staff in New England have been engaged on this issue. The Trump EPA is committed to protecting clean waterways in Connecticut and across the country. It is also a top priority of this agency to ensure plants and wildlife can live safely in their habitats as we strive to be exceptional stewards of our environment." EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, which then, of course, got a letter back to Lee Zeldin thanking him for speaking up on this, written by State Senators Henry Martin and Steve Harding. In the letter, they go so much as to say this topic has been one that we've repeatedly asked our Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection about. On July 9th, for example, we asked the Commissioner of DEEP a simple and direct question: will DIQUAT be used in Connecticut this year or not? We have yet to receive a reply as of July 11th today. So, as I told you folks that we were going to do what we could to get to the bottom of this, we did. And as I assumed, we were 100% right. The EPA didn't know about it. Rozan, you're with us now. This was something that I said, right? I mean, we knew that EPA knew nothing about this, and we were gonna get to the bottom of it and sure enough find out. And here we are, Lee Zeldin saying we're not aware of this.
Right. I think it's great, that one of the things I have to go back to what that crazy Republican said about this cult that we're all in.
Oh, Jeff Davis.
Yeah, I want to see receipts.
Turn the mic up.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
I want to see receipts. Right. I do. I want to see receipts showing that what he's saying and what he does are two different things, right? I want to see the receipts that show the lack of transparency. Mm-hmm. And when you engage or give opportunity to the Trump administration to respond to something, there is an immediate response that always stays aligned with what the Trump administration has always stood for. I was a liberal Democrat until they tried to shoot him in the head.
It's coming up on a year.
Almost a year. I was a liberal Democrat. I believed anything and everything Donald Trump said was an absolute lie. I believed he was a racist, a misogynist. I believed he was just this horrible, horrible person. And I started watching Donald Trump just so I could argue with you. I wanted to be better able to argue with you about the racist crap that fell out of his face. And as it turns out, I was wrong. I was not being given the correct information. And when we see it right there, when the Trump administration is given information that we are going to be harming normal Americans, people in Connecticut, by poisoning their water and their land. I don't care what any of these people tell you. Runoff is a thing. Evaporation is a thing. It happens, right? When the Trump administration hears about this, the first thing they do is say, "Wait a minute, we're not okay with this." we're not okay with this.
Yeah.
We are not tree hugging, electric car driving, cooking with our fart gas, environmentalists, but we do care enough about our planet and the people that live on it that we're not going to allow poisoning.
Well, let's take this into consideration because the key part of Lee Zeldin's quote, and this is the part that flies in the face of what you're talking about, people who have told you things about the Trump administration and people who work for him. The most important part about this is he says, we hear the many questions that have been raised on this topic, and we are doing our best to answer them. So here the EPA under Lee Zeldin and the Trump administration taking the concerns of the citizens.
Like the actual people, not the politicians.
Exactly. And saying, we hear you, and we are going to listen to you. Where we talk to the politicians, we send letters to the politicians, we call up their offices, and nobody gives us an answer like, who are you?
Right.
And it's like,
well, what you did was the equivalent of going over their head. You jumped the chain of command. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I am okay with it. I would rather jump the chain of command and have my commander listen to me rather than play by the rules and be a scared little whimpering wuss in the corner and allow somebody else to speak for me when they're really just speaking for themselves. I mean, I listened to that interview with that woman. God, what a politician. She talks like a politician. She sounds like a politician. You know what politician means? A BS artist. She is a BS artist. She knows how to play the game. She's got a paycheck. Good for you, lady. Shut up, sit down, and let us do our job now.
You know what? As I said, challenge accepted when she said you can try. And
you're welcome, honey. We win.
I hope she's listening. I think the part of that drives me through the roof, what makes me so angry about that was as if to suggest that we had no option, that we had to accept it, and that was going to be
right.
It. And take your licks and deal with it. We're in charge. And that's, again, to learn that there was something about this that just said, with everything that I read,
it stunk to high hell.
Not only did it stink, but then when I went to the EPA's website and I checked out the research they had
1998.
done. 1998.
Right.
And then I was finding out that the treatment that they were going to do, it turns out that the EPA was going to then check the water every 3 months after its application, which flies in the face of the idea that this is safe.
Right.
So I don't need to check. It's safe. If it's safe, be quiet. We know what we're doing.
Right.
We don't need you to check it every 3 months.
Right.
I mean, it should be in the sense of we're just applying water to water. No need to be worried. But to say to us, don't worry, and we'll check it every 3 months. Well, what happens in 6 months?
Listen, trust us. We'll take care of you. We'll make sure it's safe enough for you.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, don't swim, don't fish, don't take a boat in there, don't drink the water, all those things. But don't worry, it's perfectly safe.
Yes, exactly.
Totally safe.
Right, don't drink the water.
Boil your water before you drink it and then filter it, but don't drink it.
Don't drink the water for 2 days. Don't swim in the water for 2 days. Oh, and wait a minute, here's the crazy part. Don't put it on agriculture for 4 days.
Why?
2 days to swim, 2 days to drink, but don't put it on your food.
What is going on with it? How is it safe if I can't put it on my crops? I just want to say real quickly, there's a Native American term that a lot of people have kind of scoffed off. Mini Wachone.
Okay.
It means water is life. And this is the first time we're starting to see non-native people caring so much about the water. Mini Wachone. Water is life. You pollute our water, you kill life.
Yeah, I tend to agree. But this is, again, it's a victory. I sent... I
just want to say congratulations to you. I know you don't want accolades, and that's fine. I don't care. You are, as was mentioned before, a muckraker.
Yep.
You saw a pot, and you must stir. And I just want to say I'm really proud of you. When you showed me that letter from the EPA this morning, I was in tears. I'm so proud of the work that you've put into this. So,
like I said, I feel like everyone else who was pushing on this and informing this show, and getting the word out there, forcing the news media, like even though we couldn't get them to cover it in a way that was relevant, again, I got to give props to WFSB, who really did. Like I really have to reach out to Susan Raff and her team because, I mean, out of everybody in Connecticut, she did the one thing everyone was asking, and that was to put some focus on DIQUAT. It's not that we didn't care about hydrilla, as Representative Muir was trying to put all the focus on, as all the other news media was trying to put the focus on. It's hydrilla. It's dangerous, and it's going to do this and that.
It's like, the new COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay in your house. It's going to kill you.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, it just, listen, to me, it didn't make sense. And as I spoke to, Jessica Stark yesterday, I said, look, if this hydrilla thing is so dangerous, why is everybody reluctant to talk about this story?
Right. It's one of those situations where the cure is worse than the disease.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's the part there. And again, I want to follow the money. Who's getting paid by using this DIQUAT? Who has a vested interest in the utilization of DIQUAT?
And I'll go one step better. And not just credit to Lee Zeldin, the administrator of the EPA, but this is why I think this really, really speaks to the volatility of using DIQUAT. Everyone knows that there is no way that Lee Zeldin put out this statement in a knee-jerked way.
Mm-hmm.
He had to have said, hey, what's this thing about DIQUAT I'm hearing? Get on it.
Right.
Somebody looked at it and said, hey, here are what the concerns are. This is what they're talking about. His statement is, we don't know anything about the usage of this, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
I think that's what the Democrats are pushing so heavily, is because the Trump team responds so rapidly that they are coming at it from point of ignorance. And it's important to understand that understanding the efficiency and efficacy of the Trump administration, there has to be an understanding and appreciation for the amount of intelligence and
thoughtfulness.
But the intelligence and research that goes into a response.
Right.
How rapidly they gather that research and that intelligence in order to respond coherently and effectively.
Yeah.
Right? That is completely lost on people, is you cannot respond so rapidly, so readily, and so decisively with complete ignorance. There is such a deep level of involvement on a community level that is evident. If you look at it just from a Connecticut standpoint, there is such a deep community involvement from the president's administration, like all 50 states, that his administration cared enough about Connecticut's water.
Yeah.
That has to tell you something about this president.
Well, like I said, the way that he responded to this by saying the entire New England region, that he addressed it from that. What I also found out is that today, about 5 hours ago, this story just came out, that union is demanding that the EPA reinstate workers charging illegal retaliation. Here's where it makes it interesting. A union for employees of the EPA is demanding that the agency reinstate workers that were placed on leave for signing a letter critical of Trump's administration's environmental and personnel policies. It turns out that the region of these workers are from the first region, this one, in Connecticut and Massachusetts. They were workers in that region who made these comments about Donald Trump, and they were put on leave. Disparaging
comments?
comments
Are they
about
government employees?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so what you have to understand is that as a government employee, your freedom of speech is slightly limited, particularly when it comes to the administration that you're working for.
Yeah.
And you can gripe and complain about that all you want as an American. Oh, I'm an American. I get it. But when you go into working for the government, you go into it knowing that you can keep your personal views all you want, but you will not utilize your position to advance your personal political opinions.
Yeah.
So if they weren't put on leave for retaliation, they were put on leave for violating their own code of conduct as government employees.
And people think that that's, how they're supposed to behave.
Again, people are feeling that they're supposed to behave a certain way, which you feel doesn't matter. The government doesn't run on your feelings. It's based in fact.
Ben C. told me, please let your wife know that I am also a recovering liberal.
It feels better on this side. I can be honest with you, I've never been so happy. Just completely content and not living in absolute terror that the world's going to end since becoming... I haven't brought myself to be able to say it yet, but I'm no longer a liberal Democrat.
So you can't say you are a conservative.
Yeah, I love Trump. I'm a Trump supporter. That's as far as I can go. I haven't been able to say the R word yet. I'm working on it, baby steps, okay?
Yeah, okay. No one's forcing you. Take your time. Take your time.
But it's happier. I feel happier on this side of the aisle.
Look, it goes to reason that in order to be a liberal, you have to be outraged about everything.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how it works.
I think so.
Right? In order, like everything has to be offensive to you. Everything's got to be at the brink of destruction.
Well,
the sky is falling.
One of my daughters had said to me that she was really disappointed in me for being a hypocrite. And I asked her why. She said that the changing of the name of Mount Denali, I went against all of my principles as a Native American to support a racist president.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We're glad to have you on our side. You were quite formidable. Let's get some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, sir. My Shaka Khan.
Hey, guys. Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio. Rozan on the radio is hanging out. And, of course, we are talking this break. And we'll get to your phone calls. So, Mike, stand by. I got to get this out. I just got to do it. I got to do it. And Rozan is right. His new name, officially, is Soyperman. Or as she affectionately referred to him as, a super white dude for Harris. That's all it was. This Superman, folks, was so bad, so awful. It began, and let me just say this. This movie began with him getting his butt kicked. He starts off bloody and broken. Like he's supposed to be the most powerful superhero in the world. Like he is Superman. He's like the number one guy. And they start him off with him getting his complete butt kicked by a guy in an iron suit, right? Obviously he's supposed to be his twin in some sort of way, but I'm not giving anything away. But the person is supposed to be just as powerful as him. But anyway, he starts off by getting his butt kicked. He's not supposed to have broken vertebrae. He's not supposed to have lung and kidney damage. It's Superman. They softened him up. They softened him up. And it's the worst off. It's not just so bad that he gets his butt kicked in the opening scene. Right? We start off with him getting his butt kicked in the opening scene. He gets his butt kicked 3 separate times.
And it looks like Lois Lane's got him pretty well henpecked as well.
Oh, yeah, forget about it. And he's an emotional wreck. He is completely there's this scene where you can all see it online to some of the previews of he's being interviewed by Lois Lane as Superman and as Clark Kent or some weird thing. And he gets emotional. He's upset at some of the questions. He's erratic and screaming like a child.
Christopher Reeve.
It's so awful. And it's not so much about the graphics, Roland. It's not about the graphics. It's about the storyline and the characters. They have a Green Lantern character in this movie who is a clown. The Hawk Girl who is screeching throughout the movie. She is screeching. And the typical black guy who obviously has to say black guy things. It's just so typical. The guy he said everything from what you talking about, Willis. It was awful. It was absolutely awful and campy and ridiculous. And the fact that Lex Luthor has been reduced. He's not my favorite villain, but I will tell you the one person, if you've asked yourself in your lifetime, why is it that the 2 best comic book villains in history are Gene Hackman and Jack Nicholson as Lex Luthor and the Joker, respectively?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You ask yourself why. Why did these 2 guys, who are stellar performers, why do these guys pull it off? Why? Because they care. Because no matter what the role is, they care. And Gene Hackman, if you look at him and look at this kid who they got as Lex Luthor today, I don't even want to say his name. I can't promote him. He was a whiny infant. The whole movie is about jealousy. That's all it is. He is, and wait, They even go so far as to tell people in the movie that's what it's about. Their whole reason, the reason why Lex Luthor hates Superman is because he's jealous of the attention he gets. That has never been their dynamic.
No.
Ever.
No. It's interesting. I'm trying to figure out, like, there's a toxic masculinity theme in here, but it's like toxic masculine now means crying soy boy gets beat up by crying soy boy.
Yes.
And somehow the woman is the only one that comes out of this whole thing looking strong and powerful. I'm assuming.
Oh, so that's what they're trying to relate.
I didn't watch it. I hate going to the movies.
I have to tell you that at the end of the day, it's funny because one of the scenes in this movie, the Lois Lane character gets to do something that doesn't make any sense. She's flying a spaceship just because.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just because. I'm telling you, she just does. It doesn't make any sense. And the other part about it is, and this is the part that really, really drives me nuts. If you've seen the trailers, you see giant skyscrapers falling onto the ground, like just falling over on one another. And Superman can barely keep up. There are big giant monsters that make no sense. They show up out of nowhere. There are other side characters that are in this that are absolute jokes.
Okay, this new director.
No, James Gunn is an accomplished director. He did the entire Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy.
That's great. He needs to be taken out into the city square and flogged.
That's the thing. Now, I've watched the last.
But who came down on him to make make him make those type of changes to that he wouldn't normally make to his films?
You know what? I don't know. He said that he was making a different kind of Superman. He was introducing a Superman to a new generation.
Soyperman.
Yeah. So who told him that he's going to be James Gunn? Hey, come here. You're going to be introducing a new Superman, and
they gave him the helm.
About it.
They gave him the helm. They told him reinvent the DC universe. And he said, I'm going to completely revamp it and you're going to love it.
He said, girl, got you.
But no, here's the crazy part, right?
Oh, my God.
So after all of that, and let me get to the most important part about all of this.
Before you get to the most important part,
yes.
Was there anything good about the movie?
The dog. But let me tell you why. And I'll tell you why. And it's the saddest part of the film. The dog is AI. The dog is all CGI. It isn't even, if there is a real dog, he's there momentarily, but the entire dog, because of the thing that the dog has to do, Crypto, the stuff that Crypto has to do, it's absolutely virtually impossible to train a dog to do this, so it had to be all CGI, which it is. Yeah. And he's the most redeeming character.
I really thought that was going to be the epitome of cheese in this movie, and you're telling me that was the best part?
It was the best part. He had the best. he had the best. And now let me get to the most important part of this film.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the most important part of this film is, Rozan, I know I've expressed this to you, and I know I've expressed it to everybody else in this audience. The most important thing about me going to the movies is that when you go, you have a collective experience. Not that I'm into collectivism, but when you are all together with a bunch of strangers laughing and joking about the same thing in the film. Watching that and seeing an audience respond to it tells you how well or how poorly the movie's doing.
Right.
So that's what I go for, that experience. If I made a movie, I would sneak into the back and watch how their reaction was.
Right.
And many directors and producers do. So I'm watching this movie to a crowded audience. They laughed 5 times in a 2-hour film. 5 times. 4 of them involved the dog.
Wow.
The parts that were supposed to be funny, that are supposed to come off as funny, do not. It is lazy. Every part of this movie is lazy. I have no interest in the characters. I don't warm up to them. If you are not an avid viewer of DC Comics and know any of the characters, you will not know any of these people. You will not care. Who is Mr. Terrific? I don't know, and I don't care. This version of Green Lantern, don't know, don't care.
Was it worse than the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern?
Oh, no, his character was,
that wasn't terrible.
No, that wasn't terrible, but I will tell you this. This is another part. There's a part in the film that shows gratuitous use of the middle finger. It is. It's dumb. When you see it, you go, why is that even there? It's there, and it shows up twice in the same scene unnecessarily. It was boring. Wow. I walked out of there, and and I'm watching the whole thing. Oh, that's another thing. I'm sorry. The other thing that also drove me nuts was the parents of Clark Kent. Both of them are alive. Now, anyone who is a rudimentary, I don't really know this comic, but I read it before in my lifetime, knows that as all comics go, either both parents are gone or one parent
It's
is gone.
usually the dad.
Both parents are there.
Huh.
Complete departure from the what's name, and his parents
For the whole movie?
For the whole movie.
That
Damn.
explains the soyness.
Yeah.
Because he was over nurtured by mom, and I'm assuming if this tracks, I haven't seen the movie, but I'm assuming dad is overly affectionate and super encouraging and speaks really gently.
And mama is a country bumpkin. These people, that Martha and Clark Sr. are the most, pardon the language, folks, hillbilly bunch of people from Smallville I've ever seen as a depiction of Martha and Clark.
Wow.
Never have I seen this depiction done so badly that he's big mush. I'm serious.
Are you kidding me?
He's big mush. That's all it is. I'll go get your boots for you. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
It is.
I'm so embarrassed right now.
Who authorized the writing on this?
I don't know. No, in fact, it's written and directed by James Gunn. Now,
wow.
last but not least, I want to get this point out. This is very important. So if you read the reports, they say that this movie is about kindness, and it also deals with immigration. It does not.
Immigration how? From aliens from other planets?
Yes, because Clark Kent
gets beat up by all the other...
No, he's an alien from another planet, right? And
humans beat him up?
Yeah, but they're supposed to be dealing with the fact that, they don't know who he is or where he's from. They were trying to give that impression in the film. It does not track. It does not track that the Americans or, the humans are suspicious of him until they're made to be. But no one is. In fact, we go midway into 3 years of Superman's existence in Metropolis. This doesn't start off. This is not like the traditional story where we see him as a baby growing up and becoming Superman. He's already Superman for 3 years. Right? So everybody knows who he is. And it's 3 years in. And not only is he Superman already, and he's already, dispatched with bad guys and extraterrestrials, but he's dating Lois Lane. So they've already got a relationship.
They didn't even let you get into the story.
Exactly. They develop nothing. You go mid-season into
dropped
the
right in the
story.
center of it.
Drop right in the center of it.
Figure it out, guys.
Yeah.
You know what? They probably based it, if you remember Smallville.
Yeah.
And then they did the Lois and Lane. They just recently
Lewis and Clark, and
the Lois and Clark. They just recently did that.
Yeah.
So maybe they playing off of that because
I think that they're doing that too. But the other part, and last but not least, this idea that the movie is about kindness. No, it isn't.
It's about
gayness.
It's about what?
No, she can't say it.
I can't say it. It starts with a G.
Starts with a G, ends with an S.
I got you.
No, it was, again, this was not about kindness. I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they were throwing people off the scent, but this is not about gay. This is.
I got you.
This is not.
I got you.
I said gay.
Freudian
This
slip.
is not about that. It's not about kindness. This is literally about whining. It's whining.
It is, and it sounds like the epitome of white dudes for Harris.
No, in Superman, again, I got to give this away because it's not a spoiler, but Superman gives this speech in the film where he's talking about, again, this is a guy who, again, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, who gives a speech that I'll paraphrase by saying, I make mistakes every day. I wake up every morning not knowing whether or not I'm going to get it right. I'm as human as anybody else. What?
Yikes.
I'm telling you, this is the epitome of white dudes for Harris. That is the entire Kamala white dude movement.
It is so,
I'll bet you he doesn't even eat meat or drink milk.
And then there's the last thing I'll say. And this is it. The reason why the dog is the most important thing in the film is because the dog saves Superman twice.
Of course.
Twice. Which means that this guy on his own isn't super at all.
Super annoying.
He's absolutely not super.
Soyperman.
He is. He might be Soyperman from now on.
Soy boy.
My brother's been talking about this movie for 2 months.
I know everybody has.
He's going to be. This is his favorite superhero.
Again,
so he's going to be very disappointed.
You know, it's bad. It's just bad. I'm sorry that I took up so much time on this, but I just needed to get it out because I love.
Well, I'm glad I didn't go.
I love this character in the sense of, maybe I'm nostalgic for Christopher Reeve. And I wasn't.
They just showed. Now that you mention it,
yeah.
Last night I watched Superman 2 with Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman, and Christopher Reeve.
Gene Hackman was the best Lex Luthor ever in all time.
Now Superman 2 is Zod, right? Zod comes back.
Yeah, Zod came down.
Yeah, when they got the
I didn't
black
really like him,
pantsuits.
and I didn't really like the depiction of him in that movie, but
yeah.
Everybody else was good.
Listen. I think his name is Terrence Stamp, who plays Zod in that film. One of my favorite lines in that movie is when he says, "Kneel before." He gets on the ground and goes, "My God." He goes, "You mean Zod?" That's
the one where they're all wearing the matching black pantsuit.
Yeah.
Patent leather
with the chest open.
Yeah, the Joan Jett looking outfit.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So there's my review. We'll take your phone calls. Thank you for being patient when we return. Let's get some news. Weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Reese.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
Make sure you download that Odyssey app so you can check out Reese on the radio whenever you want. Also, you can find out what happened was right there. And it goes up immediately, I think even during the show, like each break, it goes right up. Oh, you know what I forgot today? Between rounds, I forgot to mention between rounds winner. We leave it as the same person who was yesterday because Roland wasn't here, and that was the whole thing. So Kenneth S. of Naugatuck was our winner. If you'd like to participate and get a chance to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, make sure you contact me at reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com so that you can participate. Between Rounds has a little section right there on my website. Fill it out. Make sure you put in your telephone number and, please, your date of birth. That is important. If I don't get it, Roland goes after me and says, you got to get their birthday. And then I got to email you back and say, get your birthday. And then that takes forever. And I got other things that I need to do, like spend money on my wife, which I understand. Are we not spending any money this weekend? Please
we'll
say
see.
no.
We'll see.
Huh?
We'll see.
Ugh, goodness gracious.
We did get, I told you about this, the flyer to go into Kerrville and do some volunteer work. So I'm really hoping I can convince you to go into Kerrville.
I think we should go. We should go down there and see what we can do to help, and maybe get some talk to some of the people out there.
Yeah.
Maybe to get their firsthand account of some of the stuff going there, and we'll talk about it on Monday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What was the other thing? I know I need to talk to you about going to the movies. You allow me to go to the movies by myself.
Allowing?
Yeah. Well,
you need permission? Like you're a whole grown adult?
Well, there was something weird that you did, the first time I mentioned this, and you were like, you weren't a fan of the fact of me going to the movies by myself.
Well, wasn't it like a Marvel movie?
No.
I think it was a Marvel movie.
Well, maybe at the time it was a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I draw the line. Like Marvel movies, like that's the thing. Or like Mission Impossible, like something that needs to be seen.
I just saw Mission Impossible. You told me to go by myself.
Yeah, but that's because Tom Cruise is like 85 now, and it's like pushing that walker around, it takes away a little bit of the joie de vivre, But there's certain movies that have to be seen in a theater, and I'll let you know, like, hey, I really want to see that. And for the most part, no, I really don't.
Tell me
movies.
Tell everybody the last movie you made me take you to. Go ahead, tell everybody. Not that this is really important, but I want to tell you, when she says go to a movie that matters to her, God, tell everybody the movie I had to take you to.
Okay, first.
You got less than 30 seconds.
This is the only time I've ever asked you to take me to see a movie I wanted to see, and it was Lilo and Stitch.
That's right. I saw Lilo and Stitch.
And it was great.
Yeah, okay.
I cried.
Which is a classic.
Exactly.
Oh, give me a break, this guy. That's because he's got a kid. That's why, because Lilo and Stitch. What are you going to do? Yeah, I can't talk about movies in this break because Mark Christopher hasn't been to a movie since it was what do you call it? Since
The Nixon administration. Carter.
I was gonna say since they were silent films. Mark Christopher's in the
Mad
BPS
Max.
traffic
Mad
film.
Max.
He says
Thunderdome. That was the
Mad
last
Max in a
one,
budget.
probably.
Another dystopian film.
Oh, man. Hey, if you're heading into...
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, God, I got so much stuff to get to before we get up out of here. We'll get the rest of your calls that are on hold. We'll get to you as well. Rama's in the chat room. He said a couple of things about some of the stuff that we were talking or discussing. Rama says, doesn't Lex Luthor embody the problem with socialism and communism, with the politics of envy and the you didn't build that mentality? 100% in this film. 100% there. He also said about your characterization about Tom Cruise being 85 years old. He writes, 85-year-old Tom Cruise makes the mission impossible.
It's true.
And last but not least, the best collective experience that I had at the movies was when the Star Wars trilogy was re-released in the 90s. During the Return of the Jedi, when Vader finally throws Emperor off the side, he says, we all, despite seeing the movie hundreds of times, all cheered and clapped. That's what I'm talking about. That's primarily what that experience is about, and that's why I can appreciate it. Also, Matty O says that if you want to go shopping, I should take you to buy whatever you want, you cheap dude. Then he found out that I took you to go see Lilo and Stitch, and he then wrote, I take it back. You brought her to see that movie. You've already paid your dues. I applaud you, Matt.
I know.
Thank
I have
you.
to live with them. So I just want to say that the Mission Impossible with 85-year-old Tom Cruise is making it to the bathroom on time. That's the impossible mission.
Stevie V says Superfly might not have been a superhero, but he was one bad mother. Shut your mouth. That's what he says. He loved Superfly. I wasn't into blaxploitation, but for a show I had to do, I was forced to watch the entire CD box set of Dolomite.
What?
No, I know you wouldn't know who he is. Rudy Ray Moore.
That sounds like a
Dolomite.
multivitamin.
No,
That sounds like you need to take for nutritional deficiency.
Yes. Dolomite was a blaxploitation hero. In fact, Eddie Murphy did a Netflix film about him a couple of years back. And yes, Dolomite, he was an independent filmmaker. He thought he couldn't get into the movie, so he decided to film his own.
With the name like Dolomite?
Yeah, and I think that he made all of these great films, but I think one of the ones that was a bust of all of his movies, because they were all kind of collectively horrible, but he had a movie named Wheat Straw, the Devil's Son-in-Law, something along those lines. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was an awful movie. It's just everything he did, the Dolomite movies, were so campy and so awful and so blaxploitative. He became a legend just because of them. So he was considered a superhero in a blaxploitation film. Are you looking him up now?
I am. I'm
Okay.
looking up this weedy something.
Yeah, something. You if you find it, let me know. Let me get to the phones, 860-522-WTIC. What's going on, Mike?
I'll tell you what, when it comes to movies, I'm in Rozan's corner.
What, are you gonna go see Lilo and Stitch? Is that what you're on? Or you're gonna stay home?
I haven't been to a movie theater since the first Avatar movie, and I'll tell you why. It's all. I don't like people sitting directly behind me or standing behind me anywhere.
Really?
Chewing and talking and breathing.
So are you not a fan of crowds, Mike? Is that what it is?
No, I can handle crowds, but it's just you get this guy that looks like King Kong Bundy sitting down right behind you in a theater with a bag full of elephant peanuts and good and plenty, okay, making noises, talking on his phone, okay, not to mention the gastrointestinal issues.
Yeah, I hear you.
I could go on, but it's just chewing, and I have to be totally focused like a sonar operator when I'm watching a movie.
So what do you
go out when you have all the comforts of home? You have soda, popcorn, chips.
Well,
turn off the cell phone.
Hold on, Mike. Let me ask you this, because I totally get where you're coming from in the sense of, and tell me if I'm right here. I believe you don't have the so-called fear of missing out anything. If it's a movie you want to watch, you're willing to wait till it comes out on video or streaming, right? Like, you don't have to be first.
That's what I do.
Theater.
We wait now.
Yeah, exactly. You just go, when it comes out on video, I'll watch it then. Or when it's more convenient for me to see the film, then I'll go see it. My biggest issue with that is I love the movie theater experience.
Raw dogging air with all those coughing people.
Raw dogging air? That's what we do. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I swear to God, these people go to the local convenience store and they sound like a bag full of change when they walk in, especially in the winter. They're grabbing all this candy and stuff so they don't have to pay the premium at the movie theater. But it's just not for me, you know. You can get any movie you want on demand. Any movie that's ever been made.
You're so right. I predicted this 20 years ago. I said that the on-demand experience was going to come, and with the big, giant flat screen TVs, that the movie theaters were going to become obsolete. And, of course, now we see that they're struggling.
I can breathe fresh, clean, unobstructed air in my own house. The only flatulence around would be that of, those that I care about.
That you invite.
Yeah, if you are chewing in my ear, I can give you a look and you'll stop.
Yeah, it's good.
You're not blocking this. Sometimes you do, but you don't block the screen because you're oversized coat and your 42 bags of chips.
Mike, have a wonderful weekend, my friend.
You too, gentlemen and ladies.
You got it, boss. I will tell you this. Can I tell this story that you make me tell everybody?
I don't care. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the movie. So
as soon as you said it, I was like, yes.
Yeah, okay. So she loves this story. She loves me telling this story. Roland, I'm going to need you for this because I need your reaction to this. And I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but it was during my second marriage.
Uh-oh.
It was during my second marriage. The oldest one was off to camp, and we had the youngest one, Ethan. And I can't remember if he was like 8 or 9. He was relatively young. I think it was I want to say about 5 or 6. But it was Shrek 2. Shrek 2 had come out with Michael Myers and Eddie Murphy, and we went to go to the theater, and we're watching it. And when we go to the movie theaters, I believe that you don't sneak in candy. You pay for candy. I know you're against that. I know you're against that. So I say we always buy the candy in the West End. His mother is always one of those people who wants to sneak into candy. I tell her, no, movie theaters rely on you to buy concession candy. Yes, they do. So we get there.
That's why you buy popcorn.
Whatever. We buy him everything at the counter. It's my tradition at the movie theater. You can do what you want. I do what I do. So we get there and we buy him. He's got his gummy worms. He's got his M&Ms. I've got, my Twizzlers, which I take to every movie.
Glyphosates.
My glyphosates, yeah, which I no longer take. So we get into the movie theater and we're sitting down. And, of course, we get one of those customers in the movie theater. We're in a stadium seating, so the people in front of us are relatively low. We can see over their heads into their laps. That's how steep this is. So a woman walks in with her 2 children. And she's got a relatively big bag. So her 2 children sit right next to her. And she goes inside and she grabs an aluminum foil ball. And she puts it in one of the kids' laps. And then does the same thing again and puts the aluminum ball right in the other kid's lap. She then goes back into her purse and she pulls out 2 20-ounce Coca-Cola bottles.
Hey.
And she gives them to the kids. So when the kids open them up, we can clearly smell barbecue chicken from home. Barbecue chicken. The kids open it up and they're eating, and the mother's giving them napkins and the whole 9 yards. And my little son, just shows you my upbringing. My son, Ethan, looks over to me and whispers, "Dad." I go, "Yes, son?" He goes, "Are they poor?" I look at him in his face. I hesitate. I look at him and I go, "Yes, son. Yes, they are."
That doesn't mean they're poor. Yes, they are.
He just looks at me and he goes, "I thought so." Now you have to understand. But people say, it's like, why would you tell that to a little boy? I don't want him to take on bad habits like bringing outdoor food inside of a movie theater.
I'm just saying, I would prefer to eat barbecued ribs
Absolutely.
rather than that, chemical produced popcorn all day long.
Buy them from the concession stand if they serve them.
No.
They now have like chicken fingers and all that good stuff.
Now they have Pizza Hut and all that stuff.
Yeah,
at the
they've got
movies
all
now.
of that stuff that you can buy. So
I want barbecued rib tips.
Oh yeah.
Well, eat it before you go into the movie theater. That's all.
No, you want to eat it. You want to eat it while you're watching the film.
It's an experience.
Yeah, you create you're paying to create your own experience.
There we go.
Not for the movie.
Oh, goodness gracious.
21st century, baby. Join us.
Let's take the last calls before we get up out of here. Craig's in the car. What's going on, buddy?
The two biggest petri dishes on the planet are gyms and movie theaters.
There we go.
They know.
Hey, you can be a petri
They
dish.
know.
It's okay, but I think you make it worse when you bring your own barbecue chicken in an aluminum foil ball.
No. Wash your hands before you eat. You got your little...
Craig?
Yeah, I don't know what was happening in that chair. I don't know what was happening in that chair before I sat in it, so I'll pass.
So
I have a 60-inch. I got a 60-inch TV, a 10-speaker surround sound system, a full bar, and a full refrigerator. Why would I go to the movie theater?
See, again, this is what I don't understand. I get that you can watch it at home. I get that you can put, I'll admit, there was like when I was watching the Superman movie, there was a line that was said that I missed, and I was a little ticked off about it. But
rewind.
Yeah, because I couldn't rewind it. But that's because of it's habit forming. You watch too many movies at home, and you immediately say to yourself, damn it, can't rewind it. So I missed it. I don't know if it was important dialogue or not.
That's the greatest part, is you have a mute button for when your wife starts asking you questions in inappropriate times.
That is. But again...
Don't co-sign that. Don't co-sign that.
I'm not saying he says your wife. He was speaking generally, of course. I'm just saying that I know...
No, I was being very specific about my wife.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense then. Well, again, my view on this is...
God forbid my daughter's in the house.
Yeah, listen, I get it. Here's the problem that I have with this, and this is primarily why I like going to the movie theater. If I start to watch a movie at home and I don't like it, I'll stop watching it and I'll never go back to it. Right? If it's boring, I was like, I'll never go back to it. But if I'm in the movie theater, I have to watch it. So that's why, and again, I do love the experience of being around people watching the film and having that sort of collective experience watching something.
Horrible.
Somewhere.
I've left the movie theater several times.
I did too. There was a movie called The Cookout, but we won't get into that. Craig, last word.
My wife took me on our first date to the movies, and she had two young kids from her first marriage, and she took me to Jerry Maguire.
Okay, you got to tell me.
Little kid in Jerry Maguire.
Yeah. You got to tell me. You had to enjoy that movie.
Hook, line, and sinker. I was screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But you can't tell me you didn't enjoy that movie. Even I enjoyed that movie. I saw that in theaters.
No, it was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a great
good movie.
Cameron Crowe.
Tom and Renee were actually still good looking. That's when Renee and Tom were actually still good looking, yeah.
What else can I say behind that? Now they're a mess. Thank you, boss. You have a wonderful weekend. I don't even know what to say behind that. Tom Cruise still looks great at 60-something.
Sure.
He looks fantastic.
Yeah, if you're into short guys.
I just said he looks fantastic. I'm not going to rip on his height. He looks great.
He got a complex, though.
Yeah, he does.
Of course he does. They all do.
Yeah. Matty O says, my question is, did the concession stand cost go up so much because people are bringing food in?
Yeah,
Yes.
$37 for a small, cup of popcorn.
You know what I spent on my own yesterday?
Yeah, I saw the bill.
How much was it?
The entirety,
Yeah.
your ticket and concessions was over $50.
It
By
was.
yourself, just you.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's madness.
That is not madness.
That's madness, dude.
You know what I could have done with that $50? I'm sure I could have spent it on an entire meal for the both of us.
Ugh.
Well, you could have at a restaurant.
Well, could you thoroughly disappoint me afterwards like the movie did?
I feel like I do it on a daily basis. Give me an opportunity, baby. Don't think I'll disappoint.
Yeah, of course not. All right, that's our show, and we had a wonderful week. We'll be posting about the EPA's response. We'll get some more details on that. I hope you guys had a wonderful week of broadcasting here with Reese on the radio, and we got so much more planned coming up on Monday. In fact, I just saw 3 stories that we need to get into. Of course, we'll find out what they're... Cash Patel or Dan Bongino, if the rumors are true that both of them are talking about resigning. We'll fill you in on Monday, so stick around for that. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She is Rozan on the radio. Say goodbye, Rozan.
Goodbye, Rozan.
And we'll see you next time. Jason Katarina's got weather, and Mark Christopher.
Reese on the radio. We'll be back on Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. That's your preview. That's your preview. You got your movie preview. Notice the exit signs on the left and the right of the theater and the front of the theater. And don't forget to buy your delicious popcorn for $20 a barrel. Have a great night, guys.
Good night.
See you Monday. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91 looking at delays 34.
All right, sir.
All right, man.
And again,
We
you
will
had a
see
good
you
ride south of downtown, down into
Monday, yes, sir.
All right,
Parkway, a little slow.
Y'all enjoy the weekend.
You guys
68 and an
All right.
in the construction.
All right, everybody. Wow. And you know what? We didn't do Negro nonsense this week.
Aw.
Yeah.
Bob tuned in anyway?
Yeah, Bob tuned in today and yesterday. He was hoping that I would do Negro nonsense today. That's why he's here. And I know he's disappointed. He was like, darn it.
Aw.
You know, when you have people who show up just so they can be outraged and then you don't outrage them, I get disappointed. It's like they can never be happy.
I was angry. Darn it, now I'm not angry.
I can't be angry. That's okay. We love you anyway, Bob. And always, man, thank you for being a fan. He says that all the time. He says, well, I'm a fan of yours, but I think you should do this and that and the third. I was like, wait, how can you be a fan of me and then want me to change?
I know women who marry men with that same mindset.
That's totally right. That's such a...
I love him so much. I'm going to change everything about him.
Oh, wow, that's a good point.
Go get the right one. You'll be fine.
Oh, okay. You guys be good. You know we love you. See you on Monday.
Bye.